Riffical Records presents the Projekt Gemineye Update with your host, Mark Anthony Kay. Greetings everyone, and welcome to Projekt Gemineye Update number 81. So today, we're going to be taking a look at the second release in the Mark Anthony Kay Archive series. Last month, we took a look at the debut CD of the band that I was in for about 15 to almost 20 years, called Reckon With One. And this month, we're going to be taking a look at the second full-length album that came out with me in that band. That album was called, let's see if I can do this without getting some glare here, The Purpose of Existence. Now, this album to me is a very special record for a few reasons. Number one, sorry, I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. This album was the one that gave us our first sort of record deal in Canada. Actually, it was a worldwide deal, but the record label was based in Canada, in Montreal, called Galley Records. They focused very much on this type of metal music that we did. And they were a really great bunch of people to work with. They gave us a really good deal on, our rates and our royalties, so that was really good. But really, that's not what was really important. I mean, of course it was important because we were making an existence off of this too, right? But mainly we were very excited because it opened up the window for us to get more worldwide recognition. Now, sure, the internet was rolling at this point, but it was nowhere near as wide-reaching for music as it would become years later. So it was a helpful tool at that time, the internet, but not as helpful as it is like today. This record is the next stage in our writing and development. Gone were some of the speedier thrash stuff. In were more longer songs, more melodic singing in this. There's also still some of the heavy singing, but it's a lot more melodic. And also, we spent a lot more time in the studio on this one than the prior one, knowing that we had to kind of, take the next step in the evolution of our sound, and we really did. I mean, I bought a whole bunch of new gear for this. I at that time bought what was very new at that time, the Line 6 HD Flex Tone head. Now, some people don't like the Line 6 stuff, but I really love it. I think it sounded great. What really sold it on me was there was a guy in a band called Fear Factory. His name was Dino, and he used it for all his heavy tones for the Fear Factory records, and I loved those records. And I did a direct comparison at the music store against a 5150 head. And what I basically did is I brought my drummer in, who I trusted, like implicitly. He has a great set of ears for mixing and stuff like that. So I got him in the store with me. I sat him on a chair, told him to face the opposite way, and I would go in between the two amps with him not knowing which one I was playing through. And hands down, he picked the Line 6. That's why I ended up buying it. and it ended up being a fantastic purchase for me because it really did give me my own kind of characteristic sound. Everywhere we played in Toronto and surrounding areas, and even when we went on tour, every guitar player came up to me and was saying, well, what are you using for your sound? It sounds awesome. So it really turned out to be a very handy piece of equipment. I started also at that time, we were already playing in drop D tuning, which is a whole step down in tuning, which I still use to this day. Even Projekt Gemineye is in that tuning. But at that time, I also started experimenting. I had a Ibanez Iceman guitar, like Paul Stanley had, and I would drop that down to standard B tuning, which is really low. That's like a 7-string tuning. But I would tune it though to use it as per a 6-string guitar, not a 7-string, because I hated playing 7-string guitars. And it sounded really, really heavy. And there were a few songs on this record that have that tuning in it, and it's very easy to pick out which songs those are. So yeah, this record did very well for us and sold quite well. And we went on tour twice across Canada with it. Yeah, and it was a fantastic record. I really enjoyed it. I mean, when people ask me back what are some of the records I like the most of my past stuff, I really tend to look back at this one. The album that's after this, I also really enjoy as well, but that one is my first foray, I guess you can say, into complete production, where I did the production and the mixing and everything on that record. But not this one. This one was co-produced with me, the band, under the band, right? Reckon with One, and Chris Hagee, who worked out of Toronto in a place called the Audio Lab in Toronto, which was a great studio. He had tons and tons of vintage gear. He had all kinds of old high watt heads, early 70s Marshall heads. He had a real mini Moog, which we used on this record, believe it or not. But he had just so much great stuff to use. And he even had this really awesome microphone that our singer used quite a bit, which was basically a telephone, and he inverted the speaker in the microphone part, and you could sing into it, and it sounded like really cool. And that effect is on the record as well. Yeah, so this is a really, really cool album. I think it's much better than the first one. As far as songwriting is better, my guitar playing is better on it. The overall sound, everything is just better. The drums sound much better. I remember Jerry went out to a music store, a pretty big one here. I think it was Long and McQuaid. Here in Toronto, downtown Toronto, and picked up and rented a full DW custom set just for our recording, because those are pretty pricey drums. And it ended up being a really, really smart move, because the drum sound on this record sounds really, really good. So yeah, I don't know how much more I can say about that to make it sound any better than I already have, but it is a really great record. I think that you'll really enjoy it. So I hope you guys will take a chance and go out and grab this one. It's going to be the same price as last time. There's the price, as we all know. If you remember buying last time, the first records, there's no difference. It's going to be the same cost. And yeah, I think that you guys will really like this one. Also, before I forget, I'm just about done all the tracking and getting ready to mix the EP for the Mark Anthony K and the Lower Third Collective. In case you haven't heard about it or missed it, I will put up the little advertisement right here. There you go. That's the Mark Anthony K and the Lower Third Collective EP coming out June. I'm pretty sure it's going to be June. I'm going to be putting it out first on digital. Like I said in the past, if the reaction is good to it, then maybe further things will be done with it. But let's cross that bridge when we get to it. So that's it for this episode of the Mark Anthony Kaye archive series number 2. Again, this is the album. And you know what? Before I go, let me give you a little bit better look at it. There you go. Open it up. Of course, all the ones that I have are sealed still. Now you'll notice that in this one, we kept the design a little bit more simplistic, and people loved it still. And the photography, we had an actual photographer help us out with some stuff on this, hence the kind of odd pictures. It's kind of like a negative photo shot of us in there. And the thank you list right here, no, here, where my finger is there. It's quite lengthy because, believe it or not, after the first record, a lot of people picked up on us from radio all over the place, as far as France and all kinds of places. So we wanted to thank as many people as possible. And there, here on the card, you'll see the time on these songs. As you can see, my delving into longer songs started from this record. Now, there's no huge epics on it yet, but there's a couple of 6-minute songs in there. And by the time we get to the next record, we'll be getting up into double-digit numbers for song length, which really started to show my love of progressive music by then. But the progressive music started here. You'll get to hear little elements of it peeking its head through. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you'll take a chance on this album. It's a fantastic record, like I said before, and I think that you'll really enjoy it if you grab it. So go out there and pick one up now. I'll put up, like I said, I put up all the information here, and it's all the same as last time. Just do the link through the PayPal, and it's all yours. Okay, that's enough of my babbling, and I hope you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.